What am I doing here? Tenzana sana up. Yo. And I thought this would be easy because I'm by myself, but it's not. But yeah, Morini, welcome to my YouTube channel. Is it gonna be a channel or is it just one episode and then I'll stop? I don't know. But Molweni. Kamalam go Elam, Heke. And here's my story. I guess. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It could be daughter pressure. It could be my therapy, because I can talk about it now. Almost plus 10 years later, I can actually talk about it comfortably without feeling embarrassed and without feeling shame. The main reason why I am going to, or I'm opening this can of worms, is because my daughter said I should. And this is after we've had a conversation about what happened back then. I never thought she knew. She'd tell people, obviously, but I never really thought she knew what was going on, or she was aware of what was going on, or she would remember until now. By the way, my daughter's 18 years old this year. So I never thought she'd, remember till today what happened then. But clearly, I was wrong. Let me give you a background of what I'm talking about, or when it started. Maybe I should start at the end. Okay, let me give you a background of how we met and how I got out of my abusive relationship. My relationship started in grade 12, I would say. I was 17 I was 18 when we started dating. And it was towards my matric farewell, I think. We were friends first. The first time I spoke to this guy was in matric, because he was a taxi driver then. So we needed transport for many events. We used to go to a school in town, and we'd travel from the location to town. So sometimes we'd need transport for late travels, after school travels, or if we wanted to attend a function in the evening. So, being a talkative person that I am, I kind of organized the transport, and luckily I found him, and that's how we got to talk. Every time we'd need transport, I'd call him. And every time we'd need something to do with transport, I'd call him. So he was really available for us. That's how we met. And I guess we became close because he used to come visit. My mother knew him. He used to come visit. We're just friends. There was nothing there. I remember at home, my mother would ask, and I'd say, no, he's a friend. He was genuinely a friend. There was nothing going on. There was no like or anything. Because at that time, there was this guy from Pretoria who used to who was pursuing me, and he was supposed to be my matric farewell dance partner. Fast forward, but that guy couldn't make it. So I asked him, and that's when we started dating. I think during that period, we were very close. We were very close. We were always together, because he had a car, obviously. So, and this is my first relationship. So he had a car. We'd go places. The taxi belonged to his family, so it wasn't like he was a he was helping his family out. So he was a driver for his family. So we'd go places, we'd do things together. We were quite tight. Fine. Everything was cool. It was good. I passed matric and I went to university. There were no signs at all of abusiveness. He acted like he understood, because I remember with this Pretoria guy I was talking about, he used to call me and I tell him, because he knows most of this guy pursuing me. So I tell him, no, it's so and so, and he was cool about it, like, so it's for to me that was like, okay, he understands. And why wouldn't he? Like, I was honest with him, like, about everything, what was going on and everything. So why wouldn't he understand? But regardless, we dated. I went to university the following year. I went to a university close by home, and he became some type of jealous. I didn't feel like I had freedom in university. The towns were 50 kilometers apart. So he'd always be there. I stayed in Riz for my first year. He'd always be there, but I took no note of it. Like, backtrack just a little bit. In my first year of university, after my matric, my mother passed away. On the 1st of January of that year, 2005, a long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago. She passed away, so he was there. He helped me. My family was in PE at the time, so everyone was quite far. So he helped me with going to raise, going to school, everything. Like, he was there, he was present. So he was like fam. Like, to me, he was like family. So I settled into raise, yes, and I'd go home, like, okay, I'd go to him every weekend. I'd visit. If I don't visit, like, he'd call, what's up, why aren't you visiting, and all of those things. And I felt like I didn't have freedom, but at university. But I was like, at the same time, okay, maybe because he loves me, that's why he's like this, he's acting like this. Until actually, I'm supposed to be telling a story about getting out. Okay, that's how we met and that's how we started dating. Yes. So it had been plus minus 4 years of date. Oh, okay, backtrack. Let's go to university. I got pregnant in my first year of university and I had a child with him. My child stayed in PE with my family, didn't stay with me. So yes, every weekend or every now and again, or every month, we'd go visit the family. I studied fine, completed, and then after 4 years of studying, I moved from my university town to where I was going to work. At the time, it was East London. I stayed there in East London, obviously, because I work a 9 to 5 job, 8 to 4 job. So I stayed in East London, and like once in a while I'll go visit him in where we stayed, or where he stayed, or where we met, or the town we met in. But I'd go visit like every now and again. This is my first year of working, so I'm working officially. I worked during my university years, but I wasn't officially working. I was just doing a side job, kind of. But this is my official working job after my university years. So my child is around 6 this time. I actually studied for 6 years. That's a story for another day. I'll tell you what happened. My degree was supposed to take me 4 years, but it took me 6. I'll tell you a story for another day. So, oh yes, so I started working in East London, and my daughter was staying in PE at the time with my mom's sister, my aunt, and her kids. So me and BF at the time used to visit her now and again. I didn't have transport. It was my first year of work. So, yeah, I didn't have transport, but I would take a hike. Okay, it was much safer then to hitchhike. I know it sounds like scary now, but it was much safer. I used to hitchhike from East London to PE, either by like small car, like private cars, or by the airport. We used to stand there by the airport in East London, and we'd go to PE. They drop us off in PE, go via Port Alfred. So sometimes it would be like a small car or truck or whatever stopped at the time. Like, it was much safer, believe me. I know now it's not safe. So yes, like I said, I am old. But this weekend, okay, my BF did have a car at the time. So we would drive, I would hike to Port Alfred because there were no taxis, or the buses left at some odd times, but I don't remember there being buses going via Port Alfred or via Port Alfred to PE, or from East London to Port Alfred. There were no taxis. I still believe there are no taxis even now, but I don't know. I don't stay there anymore. But yes, so we I'd take a taxi or a hike. I'd take a hike or whatever to Port Alfred from East London. So this was it was nothing unusual. So this specific weekend, because now I'm telling you about how I got out of an abusive relationship. That's why I'm doing this whole video, just to say that I want to make an awareness of, because at the time, okay, maybe let me summarize this at the end. I got to I took a taxi from East London up till Port Alfred, and that weekend we were gonna go visit my child. So on Friday I had already told my BF, okay, this is what I'm gonna do this weekend. I'm gonna go do. I think I wanted to do my hair that weekend. Yes, I was gonna go do my hair at the salon in PE, and then he was gonna go drop me off in the morning, and then come pick me up, and then we go visit his mother in PE, and then we'd spend some time. Okay, all the whole weekend we have our baby with us, so we'd go fetch the baby first on Friday. We'd go sleep in this B&B we booked, or this guest house we booked, and then from there, the morning I'd wake up, they'd go drop me off at my hair place, and he'd go and do whatever, and then he'd come fetch me later, and then we'd spend the weekend together and everything and so forth. Because you must remember, he doesn't see me as well. He only sees me during the weekends. So this particular weekend, we went to PE. We fetched my daughter from my aunt's house. They already know now that I'm dating this guy, because, she's not happy about it. Story for another day. But she already knows. So this particular weekend, we went. I took the child, and then we went together to the B&B. We slept that evening. Nothing much happened. And then we woke up the Saturday morning. He went to drop me off by the salon, and then he went to hang out with my cousins, my male cousins. So my cousin, actually, not even cousins, my male cousin. So I did my hair. And as I was about to finish, I called him. Okay, he called in between doing my hair and everything. And I could hear that he was drunk. He had consumed alcohol. So, which was nothing unusual. He usually did that. But I knew the minute he consumes alcohol, it usually happens the time, the fighting, which leads to abuse and so forth. So obviously, I'm already worried. But, oh gosh, I'm hoping that he's not too drunk. And now I'm worried that I should watch what I say. I should watch how I say it. I should watch my words. So I'm already rehearsing, because I know, we've been through this. we go through this. So I know like the steps now of what I should watch out for, what I should take note of. So I know in my head that I should watch out for what I say, how I say it, how I do things, so that I don't trigger him. So I called him. I found out that he was, sorry, my gardener's working. I found out that he was drunk. So I said, okay, you can come fetch me. I'm nearly done. So you can drive so long, because they were in the location in PE and I was in town doing my hair. So he was like, okay, we're coming. Where are you? I told him, because now I think he doesn't even remember where I am, where he dropped me off. So I'm like, no, I'm at this place. I said, I'll direct you the minute you get to town. Like we argued. That's where the argument started. Like, now he can't find me. Like, he's calling, like, where are you? And now he's swearing on the phone. Now I must be calm, because first of all, I don't want to alert the people that I'm with at the salon that there's this going on. So I'm like, okay, you'll find me at so and so forth. And then he's like, where? And now he's panicking because he can't find the street. So I'm like, don't panic. I said turn left, and I'm also getting irritated, as if like, why can't you remember? You dropped me off here in the morning, but I know he can't remember because he's drunk. So I'm like, no, I'm at so and so, like, do this, but eventually it gets to me, and by the time it gets to me, we're already fighting. But I'm trying so much to like diffuse the fight, so that, like, we're okay in front of the people. But this was always me trying to diffuse the situation. So I got to the car. My cousin is there. He's there, I think, with his friend. They're all drunk. It's nice. It should be nice, but it wasn't, because now we're fighting. And my cousin keeps on saying, don't worry about it. Like, it's okay. We found her. It's okay. Like, he's trying to diffuse the fight as well. And then and I'm like, I apologize. So just to let's stop fighting. I'm sorry. I made a mistake or whatever. I couldn't direct you. I apologize. And then he gets off. He's so pissed off that he even asked, why did I need to do my hair now this weekend? Mind you that weekends are the only time I can do my things as well. And this particular weekend, I needed to do my hair, but I needed to go visit my child as well. So it's like, I'm killing two birds with one stone. But you know what? I don't want to argue with him. So I'm like, I'm okay. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. We leave, me, him, and my cousin. We go to another area in PE where his mother stays. Go drop off the child. No, they had already dropped off the child there by his mother's place, which is fine. So the agreement now is, now we're okay. We're okay. And then we all agree that, okay, let's go to a braai area in PE. And then we can braai and sit there and they can drink, which is fine. This is our usual weekend things. We'd usually go to a place. I wouldn't go inside. He'd go inside, come out, come check on me or whatever. But this was nothing new. My apologies. I needed to change position because of the light and because my gardener is working. So, where was I? So this is nothing new to us. So I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. I agree. Let's go to... let's go to this place. We go, they buy alcohol. I sit in the car. They buy alcohol. I'm sitting there. It's nice. And I don't know how the argument started. I don't know what we were arguing about, but it happened. I think the worst thing about this day was the fact that he got his gun out as we were arguing. My cousin was trying to defuse. He's drunk, but he's trying to defuse the situation, obviously. and my then boyfriend got his gun out. And then now I'm thinking, after all these years, this was so, it was, okay, the arguing was so normal to me, but I think the gun part was the worst for me. This is the second time he's done this. He had never before. Okay, he'd done it once before. He gets his gun out and he's pointing at me. He wants to shoot me. So my cousin comes and he stands between us, saying that, okay, my cousin, he's younger than me, like 3 years younger than me. So he says, I'm not gonna let you shoot her because obviously you're taking advantage because she's a woman. So why don't you fight me? I'm a man, so let's fight each other. I think they are like 10 years apart, my then boyfriend and my cousin. So now I'm scared because if anything happens to my cousin, my aunt is gonna blame me. And she'll have every right to blame me because I brought this guy into our lives, my life, now their lives as well. I know what this guy is capable of because this is not the last time this is happening. And it's going to be my fault. Rightfully so. I would never have thought otherwise as a parent as well. So my plea now is to say, I'm sorry. Do anything to me, I don't mind, but just let my cousin go. I'm pleading for him to put his gun away because I don't know if he's triggered enough this day to actually shoot someone. And my fear is, even if he does shoot anyone, can he please shoot me? I don't want my aunt's kids getting hurt because of me. That's my thought. So I beg, and he eventually cools down. We agree that, okay, you know what, let's go fetch the baby from his mother's place. It's around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, if I'm not lying. Let's go fetch the baby from his mother's place, and then we'll go to the hotel. Let's sleep it off, or let's fight by ourselves. I don't mind. When you've been physically abused, you already know what's going to happen when you're alone. You already expected, you just wanted to be over and done with. So that's all I wanted. Let's just go fight, hit me, do whatever, and then we're done with it, and then it's tomorrow. Or we'll sleep it off, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow, or whatever. But my tomorrow this time was, if anything happens, even if nothing happens, but after the pulling out of a gun, and actually including my cousin in the conversation, in the argument, I had already told myself that this is my out. I didn't care if he hits me. I didn't care if he did anything. In my head, I was already out. I had been already out for some time. I had been already out for the past 7 years. I had already been out since the first time he hit me. But I just didn't have the courage to actually get out. But in my heart, I already knew that I didn't want a relationship with him. I did not want a relationship with him in the past 7 years. I stayed because of my child. That's what I thought. I stayed because I grew up without a father. I wanted a perfect family. It started out as a perfect family in my view. I wanted that unity. I wanted us to make it work. I wanted us to, stay together. But after the first time he hit me, I was already out. I knew I didn't want the relationship. I knew that I didn't want him to be my husband. I stayed because I thought that was the only option. I stayed because he made me feel as if I had to. I stayed because he made me feel as if he was my only home. I stayed because he made me feel as if he was the only thing that did, or only person that did love me at the time. And you must remember that I had lost my mother a few years back, and he was there for me. And I stayed because it wasn't always that bad. It didn't start, like, he didn't start abusing me on the first year. He didn't abuse me on the second year. So I stayed because I thought it wasn't this bad for years. Like, he only started abusing me. Okay. Okay. He started abuse. I stayed because it wasn't that bad at first, like after the first time. And I stayed because I believed in second chances and third, and I believed that people could change. And I stayed because he made me not want to leave, if that's a thing. I'll get into that in another video. I don't want to be too long in this video, but what I wanted to clarify is I was out of the relationship after the first time he hit me. My heart was not in the relationship anymore. I stayed because I had hoped he'd change, and because of the reasons I mentioned. So we fetched the child from his mother's place. We dropped off my cousin because this was the easiest route to take at the time. We dropped off my cousin. My cousin did ask if I felt secure enough to go with him, and I was like, in my head, I knew I didn't want to go with him. I wanted to go home with my cousin, but I felt like that would also turn into a fight. So I said, no, it's fine. I'll go with him. So I went. The way he was driving fast on the freeway to the guest house, I didn't even care if I died on the way. I actually thought that would be better. But I was thinking, what about my child? What if she survives and then I'm not there to look after her? That was my only like problem. That was my only thought now. Like, what if something happens to her, and to me, and then she survives? Who will she have? Like, I knew my family was there, but she won't have a mother, and now the father is already proven that, So we got there. We got to the place we booked. I don't remember if it was a hotel, but we got there, and he's drunk, obviously. So I knew, but we won't argue for long. I could tell by now that, okay, he's gonna sleep because we've had a long day, long night. So he's gonna sleep and he's gonna wake up and apologize. I knew the routine. We really got there. He slept immediately. My child was already sleeping, so I just put it down, and I lied down on the bed on top of the blankets with my clothes on. I was just waiting for morning. I couldn't wait till the morning. I was counting the minutes. I was counting the hours. I knew exactly what was going to happen in the morning in my head, and I knew exactly what I would do and I wanted to do. We woke up the next morning. He obviously apologized, as was the case all the time. He apologized for what he had done, for causing the chaos, and for everything. He apologized, and I forgave him. I said, I forgive you. I think he thought he didn't believe me. And in my heart, I really did forgive him. And I was at peace was at peace with what was gonna happen. And I did. I told him, I forgive you. We woke up, I brushed my teeth, and that was it. I woke my child up, I packed her things, I packed mine. He packed his things, we got everything in the car, and then we went to drop my child off. I didn't want her to see that I was hurt. I usually would buy something on the way home so we can drop her off with a few things. We bought everything, I dropped her off, and I said goodbye. And this was a Sunday. So now this is usually the day I return to East London. So we said goodbye and we left on the way to Port Alfred, because this is how we drove. This is the route we took when I was going back home. So we, on the way to Port Alfred, he kept on apologizing, and as I was so at peace that I reassured him that I forgive you, but I knew in my heart we are just not. I didn't tell him this because I did not want to start another argument. I told him, I forgive you. I forgive you for everything you've done to me. For everything, I forgive you. And I think he was so in disbelief of why did I forgive him quickly that he kept on repeating himself. Fine, we drove on the way to Port Alfred, because this is the route we took to get me to East London. We drove from PE to Port Alfred. He kept on apologizing because he could see that I was crying. And I reassured him. I said, I forgive you for everything. And I really meant it. I had forgiven him for everything he had done for me. He had done to me. Because in my head, I knew this was my out of the relationship moment. I knew this was the way to get out of the relationship. And I knew my heart was out. Keep getting disturbed as I'm about to say this last part. As I was saying, on the way to Port Alfred, he kept on saying that. I feel like I don't know if it's much better in Xhosa or the story, but anyway, I kept on. He kept on apologizing, and because I could see that there were tears all across the center, they were going rolling down my cheeks. So I couldn't stop crying because I feel like I had so much relief in me that I could not stop crying. I don't know if it was because I was happy it's finally gonna be over, or I don't know, but yes. So I think he thought I was crying because I was hurt. And I don't think I was crying because I was hurt. I think I was crying more because I was relieved. Because now I had something to hold on to something to say, finally I can get out. I can use to get out. So I said, no, it's fine. I forgive you. And I did. I honestly forgave him that day. I think I even forgave him, during the night, because I knew that the next day he'd apologize, if that makes sense. So I kept on saying, I'm okay. And we finally reached Port Alfred. Usually I'd get, in Port Alfred, I'd get off and then I'd hike to East London. That day I said, he offered to take me, because now I think it was because he was feeling guilty and he saw that I wasn't okay to ride in somebody else's car. But I said, with someone else, whether a car or a truck or whatever I was gonna find. And I said to him, no, I'm okay. I don't need you to come with. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna ride by myself. I usually do anyway. So I'm okay. And he insisted, but I was like, no, I'm good. So he's he usually stands by with me, so I find transport. So he stood with me. I found, and then a truck came like a few minutes later. Like we didn't struggle to find transport. I basing us a goal. So finally, a truck came and I got in. I greeted the guy. I sat down and I said to him, Budi, yeah, I moaned like I'm going to East London. I did not sleep. And I'm gonna trust that I had so much trust in him, and I don't know, but I had so much trust in the driver that I didn't even worry. Nothing said I must like check on him, like be worried, be alert. Like I had so much trust that day, which I never do. Like I don't trust anyone. Like I don't trust anyone. But that day I was willing to trust a stranger. So I told him as I got in, like, Buti, and he is Landani, and please wake me up when we're about to enter. The guy, like, there's usually these small places behind a curtain behind the driver's seat, which with a small bench. I think it's like a sleeping bench or whatever. So I used that bench to sleep. I slept like that guy could have driven to Durban with me. He could have driven anywhere he wanted to, because I fell asleep. Like I slept utong, like for long, like I slept the whole way. And I think we were by the airport. The guy woke me up and said, Sissy, we are entering East London. Where do you want me to drop you off, or where are you getting off? I told him my stop, and where I was getting off is a bit tricky for trucks to go, but he was so kind, because I think he could see how I was, how troubled I was. So he offered to drop me off there by he dropped him off by exactly where I was supposed to get off. No taxis drop you off there. No one drops you off by where I was supposed to get off. They usually drop you off like at another place, and then you have to walk down. But he dropped me off there, and then he said I mustn't pay. I was so thankful. I was grateful. I was so thankful, firstly to God and to him, for making it safe, and actually for like making me meet someone who didn't think of other things, like angangcoleli. So I got onto a taxi and I went to my residence at the time. And when I got there, I used to share with a friend of mine. I got in and I went straight to my room. After that, I went into the bath, ran a bath for myself, washed, and I typed. I typed just a few lines. It wasn't that long, but I typed quite, like I expressed myself to my then boyfriend and told him that I thanked him for everything, because I don't want to lie, he had been there for me and he did things for me. So I thanked him for everything, and I told him that I think we had reached the end of our relationship. And he obviously immediately called. I answered, because I felt like I had to go, like I had to make it clear that this is it and we're not going back. The first thing he did was apologize. I told him that I forgive him. I forgive him for everything. Like I said in the SMS, like I said to him when we were in PE, and he said, if I forgive him, then why am I breaking up with him? I told him that the forgiving and breaking up are two different things. I'm breaking up with him because of the damage he's done to me, or he had done to me, and I'm breaking up with him because the relationship was no longer serving me. And I'm breaking up with him because was not happy. Like, it just was no longer serving me. And he asked if he could come by, but I like to East London. I asked why. He said we need to talk face to face. I think he thought I'd change his mind if I saw that if he cried, like, or if he apologized, like a little bit harder or whatever. But I said no, he could come, but there was nothing wrong, but he didn't have to. He came, he drove. He came, called me when I was outside. I went to him. We sat on the pavement by the parking lot in my complex, and we spoke. And I said I didn't change my mind. Like I said to him, like, this is it. Like, this is how it's ending. Like, this, I'm not thinking twice. I'm not thinking about it. And I had to remind him of all the things he had done to me. And I don't want to lie, I can't even remember some of them. I can remember the major ones, the ones that hurt me, the ones that broke me then. Like, I could remember those then, and I told him about those. And I even said to him, but there are so many more that I haven't counted. And he kept on saying he's going to change. He's going to go see, like, a counseling, whatever. And I was like, it's good. Like, go see a counseling, whatever, for you, not for me, though. Like, you couldn't see a counselor, or you couldn't seek help in the 6-7 years we've been together. So I don't see how that's going to help me now. Like, and I don't want to live my life in fear of, am I wrong for saying this? Am I, like, there were so many things. Like, there were so many things I feared. I put it correctly to him. Can so and so not call me because it's gonna be my fault if an ex calls me, or if anyone calls me that's a male, it's gonna be like, what does he want? Why did you tell him to call you? Who goes to an ex and say, call me back, please, especially when I'm sitting with my boyfriend? Like, I would, like, those are the things, like, I'd go into detail later about those. The things he did, like, the reasons he beat me for were ridiculous. So, and that was it. Like, that was how we broke up. But what I liked, we were civil with each other afterwards, because we shared a child together. And I remember, this is the reason how I started the channel. This is the reason why I started the channel. I remember when my child was 6, I think, but this is the first time she was coming to meet my current husband, which is the only guy she's ever met after breaking up with her father. And she met him. They had they clicked the first time they met, but as I kept on meeting, she'd tell him the things I went through, like, things I didn't even know she knew, like, things I wanted to forget, things I didn't know registered to her till the day, because she was so young when some of the things were happening. She was like 2-3 years old when those things were happening, but she kept on bringing them up as she was conversing with my husband, my then boyfriend, husband now. And I think that hurt me so much, because I thought I was protecting her from all these things, and I thought I stayed in the relationship to build a home, a safe home for her. I thought I hid some of the things that happened. But who was I fooling? Because I remember this one time sometimes when he would hit me, my child would run for my phone, and she knew my cousin's number. And she'd call her and say, please come fetch me. Like, I no longer want. Like, now this is the cousin she stayed with my aunt's child. This cousin was very close to me, and she used to take care of her while she was staying with my aunt. So now she used to call that cousin and say, please come fetch me. Like, I don't want to be here any longer. And this child is with the parents, but she's calling someone else to come fetch her. So the reason, okay, like now as years have passed, I asked her about this, and I'm like, and she still remembers vividly everything that happened. And it breaks me every time. I don't even think she can watch this video without crying, because she cries every time we talk about this. And she said, Mom, I think you should do, she's the one who said, you encouraged me to start this channel just to tell my story. And possibly I feel like at that time I didn't relate to anyone. I didn't relate to anyone. I felt ashamed of what was happening to me, and I didn't want to talk about it. And if people had a conversation about a woman who was going through an abusive relationship or an abuse in a relationship, I felt like they were judging me. Some of them didn't even know I was going through that, but I felt like they could see, they knew I was going through that, and they were judging me for it. And they were probably saying that I was the one doing the wrong, and I was the one who was in fault, like who was doing all the wrong things. I deserved it. And don't get me wrong, they didn't say all those things. It's some things I would think about myself. And I thought I deserved all those things that were happening to me, because that's how he made me feel. That's how he always said. This is what he always said. He always made sure that I knew that I'm hitting you because of you. Like you are changing. Like he would say, like, I'm hitting you because of you. Why did you do such a thing? You leading me to do this. You could have prevented this by doing this. And sometimes it wouldn't make sense. I'll make an example. I'd be out with a friend, and he'd drop me. Like, he'd know. Like, I'd tell him earlier, okay, I'm going to visit a friend, and we're gonna sit by her house. I'd really go with a friend. I'd sit by her house. Let's say, like, we decide, like, okay, girls, let's go buy ice cream or whatever. If he calls and I'm not there by the house of that friend, it would be such an issue that would lead into an abuse. Like, he would hit me, and I feel like, I don't know which way. I went through all the abuses. I went through the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse, and the physical. And they all, like, they broke me. Some things I still believed, even when I was in a relationship with my husband, and I'd need him to reassure me of certain things because of what damage the previous relationship had done to me. So I feel like if there was a platform of people or a person or somewhere where I would see if there was a person who would talk about what they went through, and I don't know, like, not really how to avoid, because I can never say how to avoid being in an abusive relationship. The only way is just to get out of the relationship. There's no avoidance. Like, just get out of an abusive relationship. There's no other way of getting out. But if there was a platform like this where I could listen to somebody else going through the same thing, maybe I could relate and say, it's not my fault. I didn't deserve it, because I felt like I deserved, for most of those years, I felt like I deserved whatever was going on. And I was young. I was very young, and I didn't know any other boyfriend. I didn't know any better. And yeah, so I think this is why I don't want to dwell too much. But this is the reason why I'm starting this channel. Daughter pressure. I don't know. No, I'm lying. It's not really her. But but I wanted a place where I can relate, and I feel like I want to start this channel for that. So yes, drop a comment if you think I should carry on with my story, or if you want to hear more, tell me. If you don't, please as long as you're not mean, you can say whatever, comment, like, to subscribe, but don't be mean, please. I cannot take people that are mean. I'm very sensitive. But yes, I have a very sensitive heart. So anything you say that's mean, say it nicely. I am open to criticism as long as it's constructive and building up criticism. I'm good for that, but do not be mean. Thank you. See you next time, and I'll probably tell you the first time it happened and what was going on in my mind then. And as the series as I tell you the story, I'll even tell you where we are at now, because it's not like you can just like end things forever. He is the father of my child after all. So I'll tell you where we're at. There's so much more to tell. Like, I'll tell you that, I'll take the story goes on. There's a lot. So like, subscribe, and comment, and you're gonna hear more from me. So just tell me if I should continue or make this my last video. Thank you for watching. Till next time.